Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a very dark Monday night. We're getting close to the shortest day of the year, so it's getting dark early. It's staying dark, way late into the morning, and you can really notice it big time. But anyway, we've both had busy days at our regular jobs, but we're excited to do a weekend wrap up of sports. Jason and I are raring to go. So I heard you had a some kind of ugly Christmas sweater party this weekend. How was that? What was your sweater like?
My sweater was awesome. It was like I don't know, it says something Christmassy, but it's stitched all weird. Like so it doesn't fit my body very well. So that's why it's so freaking ugly. So yeah, but it was cool. Here's the funny thing about that. Everybody was actually supposed to wear an ugly Christmas sweater, but only two of us did. Perfect. That was fantastic. And so my friend organized it so that it was her brother was hosting a local comic show at a restaurant, Zawa restaurant at Venables and Commercial. Great restaurant. Check it out.
Nice.
Good comics. I think there was a lineup of 10 local comics. All were very good, especially one gentleman, can't remember his name right now, but it was only his second time up. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Wow.
Yeah, like his stuff was super polished. I was impressed. I told him as much. So he was very good. Unfortunately, we had a heckler. The thing with hecklers, they always think that it's like, oh, I think I can enhance this. I think I can make this better. No, you cannot, by the way. Although I will say this, the man had some good zingers. As I was telling you before, he had some good stuff until he was unable to talk or make words properly because he was drinking too much.
Oh no.
Not bad. So.
Oh man. Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, would have been nice if he would have left after those first few zingers, and then you could have just enjoyed the night. But yeah, it seems like too many of those guys emerge and they try to be the life of the show, and you're like, come on, man. Like I paid money to see the other guys on the stage, not listen to your crap. And
exactly. If he had done that, that would have been great. Actually, what would have been better if he just left on a Costanza high note. If he had just done that, everybody would have been like, oh man, that guy's good.
Yeah.
That guy's good. All right. And then everybody would have had a favorable impression of him, as opposed to, man, I wish he would shut up. Please.
Yeah. We've had that before at a few of the comedy shows. I don't really enjoy when the comic actually interacts so much with the crowd. I wish they would just come with their material and make you laugh. I hate that they seek out the crowd, and I always try to sit quite far back because I just really don't feel like talking and interacting with the guy. I'm not supposed to be on stage. I'm not supposed to be part of it. So I've been getting into a bit of arguments with the wait staff at the one place we go to because they always want to keep pushing you to the front, and they have to fill the seats from the front back all the way. And so if I arrive there too early, there's always empty seats and they want to put you up front. And I'm like, no, I'm sitting back here, man. So I guess I'm just going to wait, and I'd have to wait until all those tables get filled before we can actually sit down.
Wow. Okay. Because they should actually understand it's like some people like that. Some people like to be picked out of the crowd, and so it's like, ooh, I'm a part of the show. This is great. And some people, like yourself or myself, are just like, no, I just want to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
I don't wish to be a part of it. That's why I don't want to be sitting up front.
I keep thinking of writing or calling one of the managers or owners and just saying that, like, we've come to your club numerous times, and every time I have to encounter this crap where they want to put me up front, and I'm getting close to never wanting to go back because they just will not just accommodate me and sit me far back.
And which is weird, right? Because it's like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what's the big deal? It's like, so if you put me at this table in the back, what's going to happen? What's the bad thing that's going to happen to your restaurant or /pub? What's going to happen?
Yeah, no kidding. Exactly. So I think the biggest story of the weekend, I texted you on Saturday and let you know that the Shohei Ohtani free agent frenzy is over, and the LA Dodgers were able to secure him to a $700 million contract, 10 years, 700 million US. It works out to about 950 million Canadian. And holy cow, did he ever cash in? He's not even pitching next year. He's just hitting. And he's making $70 million next year. And for the next 10 years, it just absolutely crushes every contract in North American sports history. We knew it was going to be up there. We were talking about 500, 600 million, but the Dodgers just blew it out of the water with 700.
What? Okay, you may not know this answer, but was anybody even close to the realm of money that the Dodgers offered him? It sounds to me like
it doesn't sound like it. No. They just decided, oh, we'll throw another 100, 200 million at him, and there's no way he can say no.
Yeah, because he would be crazy to say no to that. Like, no, it's like, I'm sure they have a shot. Like, if I'm Shohei Ohtani, it's like, yeah, they have me, so they have a shot, I guess. I don't care. I'm gonna have 70 million a year.
Yeah.
I'm rich.
Yeah. Incredible, man. Incredible. He is so rich. And the thing that just came out today was that he actually has worked out a deal with them where he's deferring 68 million of that every year. So there's only 2 million going on the books, so they can sign way more guys to not make the payroll so bloated. Only 2 million are going to go on the books for the next 10 years, and then his contract kicks in 2034 all the way to 2043. He's getting paid the rest of it, so he's only going to make 20 million over the next 10 years, and then he gets the 680 million between 2034 and 2043. Kind of wild. Baseball has always been doing that, but never to this great extent.
Okay, so if they're going to defer it after his 10 years, right? But his next contract is coming up. What are you going to do with that? Like, how does that even work? Like,
I think his career will be over in 10 years. I think that'll be it. This will be his last contract, probably.
Oh, okay, because you know what? That's a great point, because I don't even know how long he's been in MLB playing baseball for. Is this like its 6th year now?
Yeah, I think it's around his 6th year or something like that. 5th, 6th year, yeah.
Okay, so this is his last contract. Okay, so that makes sense. Unfortunately for the Dodgers, after 10 years of that, it's like, we can't sign anybody. That guy's still on the books.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do a podcast on all the crazy contracts that have been deferred in baseball. There's guys that are getting paid right now that haven't played in 20 years. There's guys that still getting paychecks from teams, and they haven't even been part of Major League Baseball forever. And it's hilarious to see this dead money, this money that keeps getting paid off. And there's a lot of teams that have crazy contracts where they deferred that forever and ever and ever. But I didn't realize that that's what the Dodgers were planning on doing all this. And he's not going to go broke. He's making about 40 to 45 million a year in endorsements. So, he's going to be doing okay, having to wait that long for these for the rest of the deal to kick in. But I thought it was a brilliant move by them. Why not?
Yeah, man. And you know what? I think Shohei knows how to live like modestly. I mean, he's just gonna have to get by off 60 million a year. I know it's gonna be tough. Sorry, 42 or 45 million a year, I should say. Sorry about that. It's gonna be tough. But after this 10 years, man, he's gonna be living large.
That's incredible. Yeah. So wild to see. I was just blown away. I have some stats for you that I want to let you know about. So, per month, he's getting 5,833,000 per month. He makes 1,350,000 a week, 191,000 a day, about $8,000 an hour, $133 a minute, and a little over $2 every second. if it's paid out in 10 years. Every game he gets about $432,000 every game he plays. So just insane kind of money. And we saw some of those contracts in soccer this past year. Messi and Ronaldo and guys like that were making these big dollars, but it was only for 2-3 year contracts. This one with the 10 years, it just blows all the rest of the ones out of the water. His former teammate now, Mike Trout, had the biggest one, was $426 million 12-year deal. So this one, just dwarfs that and makes them all think, oh man, like I'm getting paid peanuts compared to this guy now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Can you be like a Cy Young candidate and crush the ball 400 feet at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is be a guy like that.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Oh, by the way, there's only been one dude that's been like that.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth. Yes, you maybe could say he was the first, the number one, but he's nowhere near as good as Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as good.
It's insane. Yeah. 100 years ago too. So
yeah,
it was mind-blowing to see the money. Really disappointed that the Blue Jays couldn't come up with it. I think I'm going to cancel my Rogers contract and go with somebody else now. I hope everybody else does in protest and gets rid of Rogers. They should have just given $1 billion and then just raised their rates a little bit, and we all could have had Shohei up here in Canada.
Okay, speak for yourself. I do not want my rates raised. I pay enough money as is. Yeah. I do not want that to happen. So, you know what? Blue Jays, thanks a lot for not paying $1 billion to that dude and then having to raise everybody's rates. Can you imagine that? Like, dude's got to get paid. Sorry. Rates.
Yeah, I would have been happy. I would have happily slapped down more money, but yeah, a lot of Rogers customers are probably happy now that they did not pull off this deal and make it happen. In the world of golf, there was a lot of money thrown around on the weekend too. We just found out that world number 3 golfer Jon Rahm has jumped from the PGA Tour to the LIV Tour, and he did so for about $300 million. He has been holding out, saying that no, he didn't want to go to LIV for a really long time until this offer came up. And a lot of these guys now are thinking of jumping ship because the PGA said they were going to merge with them. There was always the talk about, no way, this is an evil empire, it's the Saudis, and we can't join on. Once the PGA said, no, we're actually going to merge with them, I think these guys started saying, well, why should I not get a bag and try to be loyal to the PGA like all these other guys left, and they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm joining on, and this was a big move. It really shook up the world of golf and shocked everybody that the number 3 in the world now has joined LIV.
Okay, but like, how could that be shocking though now? Because they're one entity anyways. Like, if you really think about it, like, why isn't everybody just doing that now?
True.
because it's the same thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
They haven't consummated this merge yet, so nobody really knows fully what's going to be happening with it. How are they going to come together? They can't seem to agree to all the principles of it, and it actually might not happen. Did you freeze there? Did I freeze there?
No. I unfortunately had somebody try to phone me. Sorry about that. My mistake. Yes. So
it might actually not happen because they just have not been able to come together with an agreement. And I think some of these guys are like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, I'm still want my money. And
Yeah.
It's going to take a long, long, long time for any golfer to make $300 million on the PGA Tour. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm fully supporting Jon Rahm in doing this, and I think they ultimately all want to merge this and make this happen, but it's not happening yet, and it might not.
Which is the most ridiculous thing, right? Because you come out and say this merger is happening, and now when you're trying to really get down to the nuts and bolts of the deal, it's like, oh, this is a lot harder than we thought. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You guys should have been talking about this before you actually came out and said it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now that you're having problems, you know what? Nobody cares.
No.
That's your problem now, right?
True.
And especially if it's the golfers. I get like some of those golfers, like Tiger Woods, gave up probably $1 billion.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're not doing that again.
No.
Figure it out. Don't figure it out. I'm taking my money.
Yeah. We talked about Tiger Woods last week. Tiger Woods is playing again this week. He plays in the tournament called the PNC Championship. And it's a really unique tournament where guys play with their sons, daughters, female golfers are also in the mix, and they play with their daughters and their sons. And it's really cool. You get to see Charlie Woods tee it up with his dad, and they finished second in the tournament last year. His son, I believe, is about 13, 14 years old now, and but he's still able to finish second last year. It's really cool to see his mannerisms, the way he walks, the way he swings. Everything is almost exactly how Tiger does it, and it's pretty wild to see, and it's a fun tournament to watch. I recommend to anybody that has any interest in golf at all, tune it in. Fun tournament to watch, and it's really nice to see these golfers interact with their sons, their daughters, even their fathers. It's great. It's fun.
Oh no, that's actually pretty cool. And then also too, you get a chance to possibly see some future pros.
Yeah.
Totally. In their development stages, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Also, there was a tournament this weekend. They call this part of the golf season the silly season because there's a lot of kind of unique tournaments. It's not part of the PGA Tour, the DP Tour, any of the LIV isn't playing, any of the real tours aren't playing right now, so they have these unique tournaments. This one this weekend was called the Grant Thornton Invitational, and they had golfers, professional golfers on the PGA, partnering up with professional golfers on the LPGA, and they would have one female, one male on each side. And our Canadians ended up finishing in second place. Brooke Henderson and Corey Connors ended up getting $280,000 each for their weekend's worth of work. Finished a couple strokes behind Jason Day and Lydia Ko. Lots of very great golfers on both sides, and this tournament's fun to watch too. It's great to see the ladies and the men competing with each other.
Yeah, because that doesn't happen too often, and it's cool when it does, because then you get to see the greatness of both the women and the men at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. It's fun, and yeah, it's been a great deal. The other thing that I wanted to mention was because Jon Rahm left the PGA Tour, he's now not in the rankings, the top rankings on the PGA Tour. He dropped out. So our Canadian Mackenzie Hughes went from 51st in the PGA Tour's rankings to the 50th place. And that means he's eligible for all the elevated tournaments this year. And this probably gets him the opportunity to make about $5 to $7 million more. If he wins the tournament, even $10 million more this year. Just that one guy falling out of the top 50, him getting in, gets a special invitation to all these tournaments. And it's going to be super lucrative just for, thankfully, Jon Rahm opting for his $300 million. Mackenzie gets to get another probably $7 to $10 million himself.
You know what? That's awesome for Mackenzie, because it's like, I was rooting for that guy to take his $300 million this whole time, and he finally did it. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I'm super happy for him. And yeah, we probably could hear him cheering as soon as he heard the news. Rahm's out. I'm in. Boom. Here we go.
Yes.
Hopefully he gets an offer from LIV Golf that's like 100 million soon, and even cashes in more.
Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Also on Saturday, the Heisman Trophy ceremony happened. It was the 89th trophy that was presented. They do an amazing job with the ceremony and the whole show out of New York City. Really love it every year. They do such a great job going in depth, finding out so much about the kids. They have the 4 finalists there. They talk to their families, they talk to their coaches, and you really get a sense of these kids having phenomenal years and about to step into the NFL. Jaden Daniels from LSU, their quarterback, he ended up winning the trophy. And man, listen to his statistics for this past year. He had 4,946 total yards, 50 touchdowns, 72.2% completion percentage. He had 3,812 yards passing with 40 TDs, 1,134 yards rushing with 10 TDs scored on the ground, led LSU to a 9-3 record. And Joe Burrow was an LSU guy who also won the Heisman Trophy back in 2020. And his numbers, Jaden Daniels' numbers, are even just a little bit better than Joe Burrow's. He threw for 300 more yards, got 3 more touchdowns, and it was just a little more prolific than Joe Burrow. So I think Jaden Daniels' pro career looks like it's going to be pretty incredible.
Well, if it's anything that approaches Joe Burrow's career thus far, yeah, he's gonna be a winner for sure, sure. I did send you that Instagram of where he started, Jaden Daniels, at I think it was Arizona State University.
Yeah.
And what his stats were there, and then where he ended up winning the Heisman Trophy. And it's amazing how far he's developed, how far he's come.
Yeah.
Very deserving of the Heisman this year.
It's amazing. I'm blown away by his development, and all these quarterbacks that were in it. There was 3 quarterbacks in the mix: Joe Nix, Michael Penix, and Jaden Daniels. All of them transferred from an original school, and we're seeing these transfer portals change lives, change teams. It's pretty wild, but a lot of them, all 3 of them, said that things weren't working out in their former school, decided to make that transfer, and all of them have just flourished since they've changed schools.
Yeah, you know what? The transfer portal does serve the student athletes well. If they see that the situation that they're in is not good for their development, then make a change. And then obviously for these guys, they made the correct change for them.
Right decision, yeah. I was kind of cheering for Michael Penix. I've always been a fan of the Washington Huskies. Been to many of their games. Got to cover them too, and he had a phenomenal year. 4,218 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, and led the team to a 13-0 record and the playoffs. And we see that in the pros, where you or lead a team, one of the best teams in the nation. You lead a team to a championship. Usually you're one of those really guys in top consideration, and quite often win the MVP. The Heisman Trophy being the MVP of college football. I was a little disappointed. He did finish second in the voting, but just didn't quite have enough votes on his side.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he had such a stellar season, but the other guy just had a bit better than you did, even though you're undefeated.
Yeah, and the other guy that was in the mix was Marvin Harrison Jr. Great to see his dad there. Great to hear the stories of his dad. with a Hall of Fame career, being able to develop his son and get him in there. And this guy is going to be phenomenal in the pros.
Oh, he most certainly is. Now, I don't know if you heard this, but Ohio State wants him to come back for another year at school.
Yeah.
And so the NIL money that they're offering him, my goodness. Okay, so when I heard of this, it just made me think, wow, have student athletes been taken advantage of for way too long? Because if they hadn't been, this is the kind of money that they would be getting. They're offering him through NIL money $20 million to stay in school.
Wow.
20 million.
Wow.
And for me, if you look at that and you look at how much he'd make on a top rookie deal, I think he might make more staying in school than going.
I think he would make quite a bit more, actually. Yeah, quite a bit more. Yeah. I guess it always, in the NFL, it always depends on where you're drafted how your rookie contract slates out. But I don't think 20 million is, to any rookie that's outside of QB and, those top, probably 5 positions. So, unreal. That would be hard to turn down. I guess the only worry you'd have is you get hurt and, you don't have that 3-year window, instead of this 1-year window.
Yeah, that would be the only reason. But even if you do get hurt nowadays, you bounce back from everything now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Aaron Rodgers has proven that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what he'll choose, but either way, he's going to be a massive winner. So
this is the first podcast we've done since the Christine Sinclair game, and I gotta say, one of the greatest moments of my life. Just loved being there. Absolutely incredible to be able to experience all the circumstances around her retirement, and really great that she was able to start. She played a lot of the game. There was over 48,000 fans there, which really blew me away because only 30,000 fans for the Whitecaps playoff game, only 30,000 fans for the BC Lions playoff game. Obviously, people turned out in full force to say their goodbyes to Christine and her other teammates there. It was really, really a memorable experience to be there.
Oh, so the coach actually played her. Good job, coach. Good job.
Yeah. She didn't play the entire game, which still pissed me off, but she started. She played a big bulk of the game, and it was awesome. And I can see some amazing things from her in the future. I think she'll be able to take over Soccer Canada. She got offered a spot on the Wrexham team by Ryan Reynolds. So that was pretty wild. I think she'll be able to do almost anything that she puts her mind to in the future.
Oh yeah. She's intrinsic into Canada's soccer culture, and I'm sure she'll do something at the upper echelons of that, and she's going to be just fine.
She's set for sure. Yeah. So. Yeah, well, it was a good weekend, but there was some UFC, there was some great basketball, there was some amazing football. Week 14 of the NFL. Let's get into how that shook down. There are 2 Monday Night Football games tonight, and I'd like to give a little bit of an update. We're getting close to the end of the 4th quarter in both games. Right now, the New York Giants are beating the Green Bay Packers 21-16. Saquon Barkley has 2 touchdowns for the Giants, and Tommy DeVito having quite the great game. He's thrown for a touchdown, and he's ran for about 100 yards himself too. So they are doing well. The Packers come in on a 4-game winning streak. Jordan Love looking really good, but as of now, about a minute and a half to go in this game. Green Bay has the ball marching down the field, and they have just scored a touchdown. They have just taken the lead 22-21, 1:33 left. and Green Bay goes ahead. So the Giants are going to have to march down the field and get a field goal. This was Malik Heath, a 6-yard TD pass from Jordan Love, 22-21 before the extra point. So, wow, amazing. Green Bay is not laying down.
No, they're not laying down, and possibly going for their 5th straight win in a row, which is amazing.
Incredible. And in the other game, a bit of a mismatch. The 9-3 Miami Dolphins against the 4-8 Tennessee Titans. It's 27-13 with about 4.5 minutes left in this one. Derrick Henry has a touchdown for the Titans, but Raheem Mostert has doubled down, 2 touchdowns from him, a 3-yard touchdown run, and then a 5-yard TD run from him in this fourth quarter. It was 13-10 for Tennessee heading into the fourth, and Miami has now scored 17 points in the fourth to take this 27-13 lead, and looks like they're going to improve to 10-3 on the year.
Yeah, this is definitely a mismatch. The Dolphins are so much better than the Titans in pretty much every aspect.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so Miami's up there tied with Baltimore in the AFC. They're both 10-3. Baltimore's the number 1 seed. Miami's number 2. Kansas City is number 3, and Jacksonville is the number 4 seed. Also in the playoff picture and the wild cards, we've got number 5 seed Cleveland Browns at 8-5, and then we've got 2 7-6 teams that are currently in the playoff picture: Pittsburgh and Indy, and then there's 4 7-6 teams that are chasing them: Houston, Denver, Cincy, and Buffalo. So 6 teams at 7-6 battling there, 3 teams at 8-5. So lots to still figure out in that AFC playoff picture.
Yeah, and who would have ever thought that of all of those teams that you just mentioned, that Denver would be in the mix?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, after last year's fiasco, yeah, they're somehow pulling it together. And the NFC playoff picture really took a very strange turn over the past couple of weeks. The Eagles went from number 1 seed yesterday. All of a sudden, Sunday nighter, they lose to Dallas, and they are down to the 5th seed, dropped all the way down. 49ers right now are the number 1 seed in the NFC. Dallas is taking over number 2. Detroit is at 9-4, number 3. And Tampa Bay 6-7. They are the 4th seed, that crazy South Division. And then Philly, as I said, number 5 at 10-3. And then we've got Minnesota at 7-6 in the 6th place. Green Bay looking like they're 7-6 too. So I don't know if they leapfrog Mini tonight, if they get that, but they're either in 6th or 7th. And then 4 teams in the hunt still at 6-7. The LA Rams, the Seattle Seahawks, New Orleans Saints, and the Atlanta Falcons. Your Falcons dropped out of 1st place in the South. Tampa Bay beating them. So, but all 3 of those teams, 6-7 in the South. 4 games left. There could be quite the topsy-turvy shifting going on there.
Yeah, definitely. There's probably going to be a lot of shifting there between all those teams battling it out, trying to get their positioning.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it plays out. We've got a Thursday nighter. We've got some Saturday games. We've got some Sunday games and a doubleheader Monday. A lot of games coming up. They fall on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. We've got games coming through these holidays, so it's going to be fun to watch, and we'll get a lot of opportunity. I want, before we get into all the game breakdowns, I want to make mention of a tight end legend. Frank Wycheck passed away yesterday. Former Titans tight end. He played 11 years in the NFL. Unfortunately, He has suffered very significantly from CTE from his NFL career, and he ended up falling in his home over the weekend, hitting his head, and did not survive it. He also had a really great broadcasting career after his NFL career was done, but then he had to retire from there due to lingering head issues and problems that were associated with all the concussions and things that he had sustained in his football career. Passing away at the age of 52. Brutal. Really, really sad when these former great NFL players are dying at a way too young of an age.
Yeah, that's the tragedy of this game, that it is harsh and it's cruel, and the reality of like what you have to live with is even crueler. To put all of these players, it's a sad day.
He had 505 catches in his career, 5,126 yards, 28 touchdowns, and he had a perfect passer rating. He was 5 for 6 in his passing career, 148 yards and 2 touchdowns with a 158.6, which is a perfect passer rating. And he's really well known for the Music City Miracle pass that he passed across, and everybody tried to see if it was forward or backwards, and led to one of the most famous moments in NFL history.
I remember that. I remember rewinding that, going, so did he pass that backwards or not? Like, and I think the angle that it was on was just so ridiculous that it was just like, yeah, it was backwards, but barely.
Yeah, it was pretty wild to see, and you had to see it from as many angles. I don't think they had as many cameras back then, but you just had to try to see, and it kind of looked like he slung it a little bit, but yeah, anyway, it led to such an amazing comeback victory for the Titans, and he'll be very remembered for that, and we'll see it on NFL films and highlight shows for our lifetime for sure. And yeah, sad to see this guy go. 52, too young, and hopefully we won't see too many of the players currently have to suffer because they're really doing a lot of good things with concussion protocols and blows to the head, and they're really trying to take this out of the game.
Yeah, they're trying their best. Actually, that even happened in one of the games that I was watching, where I think it was the Seattle game, where one of the guys kind of got up gimpy, and then there was a call from above, like from the box, where they said, "Stop the game, get him out."
Get him out. Yeah, I think that
I didn't even know they could do that. I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a bit this year. Witherspoon, I think he was the guy that got taken out. Yeah, they have actually concussion kind of spotters, and they're able to immediately, if a guy gets hit like that, seems woozy, looks like he took too big of a blow, they're able to call down, say stop the game, get him out. They take him into the blue tent. They start doing the concussion checks, and I think it's a brilliant move.
No, I think it's a move that had to happen for player safety, because for so long we didn't know the results of like what will happen to your brain if you just keep jolting it like that over and over again. And so long gone are the days of just get back out there, son, and just run it off and shit. Now you don't do that anymore, right? No. Which is a good thing. Yeah. We've developed way past that. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that they have other professionals that watch the game, so that if the other team misses something, those guys don't, because that's their job.
Yeah, because we don't want to see these former guys that we loved and cheered for, suffer like Frank did, and hopefully this can be taken out of the game. The New York Giants marched it down, kicked a 37-yard field goal, and won the game 24-22 over Green Bay, snapping Green Bay's 4-game winning streak. Green Bay falls to 6-7. and the Giants improved to 5-8. Randy Bullock is the hero. 37-yard kick as they Tommy Danny DeVito marched them down and got them into kicking range, and the Giants won this one. Quite surprising, I think.
Yeah, well, this Tommy DeVito, he's beginning to play better and better as the weeks go on. So good for him.
And the Titans have reduced the game down to 27-21. They got a touchdown by DeAndre Hopkins, 3-yard TD from Will Levis, and they got a 2-point conversion. So down by 6. We got 2.5 minutes left in that one. So we'll try to give you another update a little bit later through it. So as we always start, we'll start with the NFC East. We'll blast through the NFC picture. And this was one of the games of the weekend. Everybody had circled on their calendar and waiting for it, especially with the Eagles with the best record in football going into this one. Divisional battle, Dallas trying to chase them down. And this game ended up pretty close in the early stages, and then the Cowboys really stomped on them. 33-13 was the final score. The Cowboys improved to number 1 in the division, number 2 in the conference. Both are 10-3 after this one. Dallas looked like the better team. I think Philly has really started to show some warts, really started to show some weaknesses, and unfortunately took a loss in this one. What were your thoughts and viewpoints as you watched it?
Eagles defense is just not there right now.
Yeah.
And that's because they got guys that are hurt. Like, it's just that's what I saw as the difference. That's what I'm continuing to keep seeing. That's the difference. Yeah. That their defense is now being kept on the field, and they're just getting tired out. They're getting worn out by these offenses, man. And so that's what I see that's going on. And it's not like Hurts had a bad game. He's pretty good. It was 197 yards. Unfortunately, he didn't throw for any touchdowns, but he also didn't throw for any picks as well. Yeah. And then Prescott was just better. Because Prescott honestly just had the better full team on offense and defense. You know what I mean, right? So, and Prescott went for 24 for 39, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he had a great game. Great game.
There was 2 factors, I think, that led to this result. First of all, we talked about it last week. I don't think the Eagles ran enough again. Don't know why they're not utilizing the run enough. And it really shows, I think. They really aren't getting long drives. Their defense is on the field too long, too often. And I don't know why they're not utilizing such a strength of theirs. And the other thing is 3 fumbles. 3 big fumbles. Dak had one, Devontae Smith had one, and A.J. Brown had one. So, all 3 guys that fumbled the ball. It's crucial and tough when you lose the turnover battle like that. Dallas has guys that are ball hawks, either picking it off or slapping it away, causing fumbles. And this was a huge factor in this one.
Yeah, definitely. The fumbles and the turnovers was definitely a huge factor for the Eagles, which really hurt their chances of winning this game.
And Dallas's kicker, Aubrey, set a NFL record with 2 field goals, 159 yards and 160 yards. I think it was 2 field goals in the same game, 55 yards or greater. And he had 3 field goals, 150, 159, 160, and he's 30 for 30 in his NFL career so far. Very impressive. They struggled last year mightily with their field goal kicking. They seem to got the right guy back there now.
Yeah. This guy, if he keeps kicking the way he is, he could be another Tucker. In the making, for sure.
This guy was just a soccer player, wasn't a kicker in his college career. He was a soccer player. He decided to try out in the USFL and was super accurate. Bionic leg, could kick it so far, and really showed how well he was. Got an opportunity, auditioned when Dallas's kicker couldn't get it through the uprights last year, and all of a sudden this year it's one of their strengths, and the guy's just unable to miss.
Yeah, you know what? Good for Dallas to get a guy that's automatic, because they were missing a person like that for a very, very long time.
The schedules for both teams, though, are really significantly different. Philadelphia's remaining schedule is against quite a few very beatable teams, and Dallas has to play some very tough teams. I still see the Eagles winning this division.
Oh, like when you say that Eagles have very beatable teams, like most of the teams are below 500 that they have to play.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah, I definitely am giving the edge to the Eagles, even with their injuries and stuff. Those are games that they should win, because they are.
So the Eagles' last four opponents are the Seahawks, the Giants twice, and Arizona Cardinals. So three very easily winnable games, and the Seahawks just sitting around 500. The Cowboys have to play Buffalo, Miami, Detroit, and then their last games against Commanders, which should be a win. But three tough games on the schedule with Buffalo, Miami, and Detroit. So I think the Eagles are still in a great position, even though losing two straight, giving up the division lead at this point. They have three very winnable games, should win all four. Dallas will be lucky if they can, win two or three of these games. I don't think they'll win all four for sure. So, I think the Eagles are still in a pretty decent position.
No, I think they're in a great position. Like, considering their strength of schedule for the remainder of the season, yeah, I would go with the Eagles to come out on top for sure.
Yeah. For the top seeds in the NFC, where you get a bye, San Francisco 49ers are also 10-3, like the Cowboys and the Eagles are. The Niners' remaining schedule, they face Arizona, a very winnable game. Then they play Baltimore, a very tough team that's also 10-3. Washington, a winnable game, and the Rams, who actually playing pretty damn well this year. So I think two very winnable games, and two games where they're going to have a stiff test probably.
Yeah. Stiff test for sure, but at least for the 49ers, they got two games that they should win.
Easily win.
Yeah, easily, handily.
And then the other team that's in the mix, that's up there, one game back of the teams right now, Detroit Lions. Their four remaining opponents are Denver, Minnesota twice, and Dallas. So, so Detroit likely will be in the third position, probably third seed in the NFC. But it looks to me, still from what I see, it looks like the Eagles have a really good shot to get into the second seed behind the Niners in the conference.
Yeah. I would agree with you wholeheartedly on that for sure. Yeah.
As I mentioned, the Monday nighter, the Giants pulled off the 24-22 win. So now they are 5-8 in the division, and Green Bay falls to 6-7. Green Bay will remain in the seventh position in the last wild card spot for now. And then Washington Commanders, they came in this week with a 4-9 record. They had a bye. They get to go and play the LA Rams this Sunday at the 1:05 kickoff. The Packers host the Bucks on Sunday early, and the Giants go to New Orleans Sunday early as well. I talked about the Niners a little bit, but I didn't talk about the game. They faced the Seahawks for the second time in 3 weeks, and they were able to get a 28-16 victory over the Hawks, improving to 10-3. Seattle falls to 6-7. 49ers were 13.5 point favorites, so they didn't cover the spread, and that was kind of funny, but The Niners are just incredible. First play from scrimmage, Christian McCaffrey takes the ball, doesn't score a touchdown. Just everybody's like, no, I had him scoring a touchdown. I can't believe he didn't punch it in. They punch it in the very next play. And, to me, I was like, all right, should I watch this entire game when I know who's going to win? Maybe I'll be watching that Rams, the Rams-Ravens game a little bit closer because, it seemed like the Niners and the Hawks, this was kind of inevitable. I'm blown away by how many weapons the 49ers have. I still, think the Seahawks can, do something because DK Metcalf, that guy, man, what a gorgeous touchdown catch. He made the 31-yarder early, but they don't have the weapons and just can't compete, I don't think, with the Niners.
No, of course not. No, they can't. It's like I've said before, like the Niners on offense, those are the Avengers, man. Like you pick your poison on what you want to deal with because they're just going to come at you in waves. Like Deebo Samuel, 7 receptions, 149 yards, 1 touchdown, and then he had the one we thought he got in, but he didn't. So you know what the Niners did? I would just hand it off to him anyway, and he'll walk in and score. Yeah. Walk right in and score, right? So, yeah. And McCaffrey had a huge game of 16 carries, just 16, by the way, for 145 yards.
Yeah.
Like I said, these guys come at you in waves, and if it's not one of those two guys, it's Ayuk that has a big game, or it's Kittle that will have a big game. They're tough to handle, and Purdy is just super efficient with the football. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. 368 yards. 368 yards.
Amazing. 368 yards. That's incredible. Yeah, that's amazing. And to have 3 receivers or to have 3 guys with over 100 yards in this game with McCaffrey at 145, Ayuk 126, and Deebo 149. And Deebo has not lost a game this year when he's been in the lineup. So that's how crucial and big he is. And Christian McCaffrey just, is incredible. And as soon as that first play of the game, I'm just like, oh, here we go. And they just, this team is incredible. I'm blown away at how good they are on offense and defense. I could see the writing on the wall. So I didn't pay as close attention as I normally would to a Seahawks game, but as I said, 49ers are 10-3, Rams are 6-7, and the Hawks are 6-7. Hawks have fallen into 3rd place. Rams have the tiebreaker, and the Cards are in the rear, 3-10. Seahawks have a tough game on 1 week from tonight. On the Monday nighter, they host the Eagles, and the 49ers, as I mentioned earlier, they go to the Cardinals, play the later window on Sunday. Let's talk about that Ravens-Rams game. To me, that was the best game of the weekend. I did love the Bills-Chiefs game, but I thought this Ravens-Rams game was just awesome to watch. Back and forth. Ended up going into overtime, 37-31. And Baltimore wide receiver Tylan Wallace, punt return touchdown in overtime. The very first punt return touchdown of his career. He actually hasn't touched the ball this year until that moment. He's a wideout, never had a pass catch all year. And Devin Duvernay got hurt earlier in the game. So they said, okay, Tylan, back there, catch it, just probably fair catch it. And he's like, I'm taking it to the house. He broke about 4 or 5 tackles on his route. And it doesn't happen often where you get a punt return touchdown in overtime to win it like that. It was very cool. I saw him get the game ball. He got, the coach, Harbaugh was just, this guy, oh my God, he's always ready. We finally give him a chance, and look what he did. And it was pretty cool finish to that game.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was awesome how he got his flowers at the end of the game too. But the game was awesome in and of itself. Like, yeah. It was just, It was a back and forth affair. Both quarterbacks were absolutely awesome in this game. Like Lamar Jackson running for 70 yards, throwing 3 touchdowns for 316 yards. Stafford almost throwing for 300 yards himself for 3 touchdowns as well. Kyron Williams, now that the Rams have a run game where this guy came out of nowhere, 25 carries for 114 yards. Cooper Kupp was awesome. 8 receptions, 115 yards and a touchdown. Odell Beckham was awesome. 4 receptions, 97 yards and a touchdown. Like, it goes on and on. It was a great game. It was a great game between these two.
This was one of my favorite games of the year. It just went back and forth. I really thought it was an awesome game. Lamar has all those weapons finally. He's dangerous himself, but he just is able to pass to guys like Odell, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. All those guys got touchdowns, and all of a sudden you've got this guy out of nowhere, and he scores the winning touchdown for you. Pretty shocking. And the Rams were supposed to be just really not that good of a team this year, but I've been pretty impressed. I think Stafford's been playing great. He's got those weapons in Kupp and Nakua as wideouts, and then Kyron Williams. The games that he's been in this year, they are just almost undefeated, and they go from about 80 yards rushing when he doesn't play and something like 150 when he does. And the guy has really emerged as quite the force in the backfield.
Yeah, he has, and he's definitely added to their offense. He's made their offense a lot more dangerous since he's been ejected onto the field. And the Rams, better than what anybody would have thought at this point in time.
Yeah.
Worship.
Okay, I mentioned the West. The Cardinals had a bye. They host the 49ers Sunday. The Rams host the Commanders Sunday, early window. And the Ravens go to Jacksonville, and that's for the Sunday nighter. So the Ravens-Jags, game should be fun, that Sunday nighter. I'm looking forward to that one. Let's turn to the NFC North, and we got a shocker, a division game between the front-running Lions against the bottom-dwelling Bears, and the Bears end up pulling off the big upset, 28-13 over the Lions. The Lions fall to 9-4. Bears improved to 5-8, and this was quite shocking. Chicago ended up outscoring Detroit 18-0 in the second half and pulled off the comeback win. Justin Fields looked great, and they utilized a lot of their weapons. DJ Moore, Cairo Santos got a lot of field goals, and they were able to get a lot of pressure on Jared Goff. Really shut him down, picked him off a couple times, and pulled off a stunning win.
Yeah, very stunning. Like the Bears defense showed up, really shut down the Lions offense, and Fields was very good. I thought he was really, really good in this game. 223 yards, touchdown, and then ran one in himself. And he went to his favorite receiver, DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. And then he also carried for 3 times for 20 yards and a touchdown. So all the weapons were working on all cylinders.
Yeah, a couple touchdowns for DJ, one through the air, one on the ground, and amazing. And Tremont Edmonds, their linebacker, had a pick. Jalen Johnson, the other linebacker, had a pick. And this team really played above their heads and got a big win. Dan Campbell is still crying, and we'll see if his tears can be wiped out this week when they host the Broncos. And this is one of the Saturday matchups. There's 3 Saturday games this coming weekend. This is the 5:15 Pacific kickoff, 8:15 Eastern time. And the Bears go to the Browns. That's one of the early window games on Sunday. Are you ready for football Saturday and Sunday this week, Jason?
Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I'm definitely ready.
Nice. Good to hear. Okay. We are sticking with the NFC North, and the team in second place is the Minnesota Vikings, and they were in a dog of a game, a absolute snoozer, an absolute brutal game. This was the first 3-0 game in the NFL in 16 years, and only the second one since 1993. 3-0, and it was 3-0 until about 2 minutes left in the game. Greg Joseph finally kicked the field goal. He missed one earlier in the game, and it really looked like maybe this was going to be 0-0 heading into OT, and no team would want to win this game. Brutal. And also brutal for the Raiders. Teams have won 251 straight games when only surrendering 3 points or less. Broke the streak. It's tough in Raiderland today. Man, what a game. I was shocked at how bad this one turned out.
Okay, so that's what you saw. What I saw was a defensive gem. What a game! What a defense! What the defense? Actually, how about this? No, I'm kidding. The offenses were horrible. Everything was horrible about this game. It was horribly played. It was not a very good game. Yes, I was actually kind of looking forward to. What if it goes to overtime at 0-0? Wouldn't that just be great? You got to keep playing.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I actually would have cheered for that. Yeah, that would have been hilarious. The Raiders had as many punts as they had first downs. Pretty bad. That would have been the first scoreless game heading into overtime in NFL history. The last score, since overtime was implemented in 1974. This would have been the first game going scoreless. The last scoreless tie was 1943, way before they even had overtime. The last 3-0 game was the Steelers beating the Dolphins in 2007, and that's happened 7 times in the Super Bowl era, so over the last 54 seasons. Dobbs, worst game. Justin Jefferson getting hurt again and taken to the hospital. Really a big blow for the Vikings. And he had missed 7 games with a hamstring. And then, bam, he got hit severely in the chest. Had to go to the hospital. And luckily, he was able to be released. And he still caught the plane with the guys as they headed home. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So am I. I'm glad to hear that because when he got hit, it was a little bit scary because we've seen that before happen last year, and we don't want to see any reoccurrences of that again.
No. Raiders turned the ball over 3 times with 2 fumbles and 1 pick, and it was ugly as hell. The Raiders host the Chargers so on Thursday, so I'm hoping the Chargers can stomp them a little more and get a bit of a respectable record. The Vikings go to the Bengals Saturday in the early window. Okay, let's turn to the NFC South. And I mentioned off the top, we've got 3 teams sitting tied with 6 and 7 records. The Bucks are first in the division currently. Falcons are second. They faced each other over the weekend, and the Bucks pulled off the 29-25 victory to take over the top spot. In Baker we trust. He's back. He threw an 11-yard touchdown pass to Cade Otton with just 31 seconds left, completing the comeback. Atlanta came close. Desmond Ridder hit Drake London down near the goal line as time was expiring, and Drake got stopped before he could cross the line, and that was it. Bucks take over. 6 and 7, all 3 of these teams. Panthers last, 1 and 12, but still not sure who's gonna emerge in the playoffs. I'm sure they're gonna be a one and done team, but one team is gonna make the playoffs this year out of this mess.
Yeah. One team is going to make it. Well, so far it looks like the Bucks. The Bucks are the front runner, but I want to say Atlanta. They played well, man. Like Ritter had a great game, 347 yards, touchdown, and he ran one in. And Drake London had some catches in this game.
Yeah.
Like there was one catch that Drake London had where he literally cut in front of the DB, and if he hadn't caught that pass, it's an interception.
Yeah.
And it was the ridiculous catch.
Probably
ridiculous.
A pick six too, going the other way.
The other way, yeah. It's he played really well, but unfortunately, just not well enough for the Falcons winning.
I did want to make mention about the Vikings before we go. That game was terrible, but Justin Jefferson, before he got hurt, he was able to pass Randy Moss for the most receiving yards by a Vikings receiver in his first 6 games. 5,423 yards from scrimmage. Moss had just 5,400 from 98 to 2001 in the first 4 seasons. I think I said 4. Did I say 4 seasons? So yeah, Jefferson passing the immortal Hall of Famer Randy Moss already with crazy numbers. Which
I never thought would be touched, to be honest with you. I never thought anybody would be able to match Randy Moss's the amount of yardage that he had, and he did. So
prolific career, yeah, incredible.
Yes.
Okay, so right now the Falcons have the tiebreaker edge. All 3 teams have 4 games to go. So the Bucks, they play the Packers, the Jags, the Saints, and the Panthers. The Falcons play the Panthers, the Colts, the Bears, and the Saints. And the Saints play the Giants, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Falcons. So, I mean, all of them not the toughest. They have to win their division games, but should be very interesting seeing who emerges from this.
Yeah, it's going to be close right up to the end between all those teams. So it's gonna be a toss-up, literally.
We talked a bit about the Saints in this division. They were able to wipe out the Panthers 28-6, improving to 6-7. Panthers 1-12, and Chicago is we're getting number 1 overall draft pick. This is great. Just keep losing, please, and it's working out very according to plan for the Bears.
Yeah, it sure is. It couldn't have scripted it better. Really couldn't have.
Do you want to mention anything much about this game? Do you have anything
much
to talk about with the Saints?
Oh yeah, well the Saints. Carr was good. Yeah, 119 yards for 2 touchdowns. I do want to mention our Canadian-born Chuba Hubbard with 28 carries and 87 yards. So he tried to do his deal, do his bit, but clearly not enough. And Olave, 4 receptions, 28 yards and a touchdown. And Jimmy Graham, there was a Jimmy Graham sighting, and he had a touchdown as well.
Yeah. Did you see the car that Alvin Kamara arrived in to the game?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh man, it was I think it was an F1 pace car. It looks like a cop car that's souped up and super fast. Look online with it. I'll try to send you a clip. It was one of the coolest looking cars I've ever seen. Flashing lights, look like a cop car, pulls in, has his name on it, has it all fancy paint job, and as I said, one of the coolest cars I've ever seen.
Oh, nice, man, nice. I that's too bad. I didn't see that. I didn't see his car that he rolled up in. So
oh my God, the Titans beat the Dolphins 28-27 with Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown in the final 2 minutes to pull it out. Can you believe it?
Oh man, no, I can't. I really can't. I can't believe they won that game. Wow.
As I mentioned earlier, Derrick Henry had an early touchdown, and then Raheem Mostert got 2 himself, and then Derrick Henry said, okay, you get 2, I'll get 2. And they pulled off the win. They did the 2-pointer in the DeAndre Hopkins so they could get it within 6. And when they scored a touchdown and Nick Folk kicked the extra point, they pulled off the stunning upset, dropping the Dolphins to 9-4 and Tennessee improving to 5-8. Wow, 2 upsets tonight. Pretty crazy games.
Yeah, no, that's not great for bettors. Not great for the gamblers on the night game at all.
Titans host the Texans on Sunday, and Dolphins host the Jets. Okay, let's talk about this Bills-Chiefs game. We really like seeing Mahomes against Josh Allen. These guys have had some playoff battles, some really epic battles, and this one was not as prolific offensively, but really back and forth in this one. Fun game to watch. I don't remember seeing Patrick Mahomes blow a gasket as much as I saw him at the end of this game. I think he's getting very frustrated with how much his teammates are letting him down, letting the organization down, letting the city down. It's really starting to rear its ugly head. And it really showed with Kadarius Toney lining up offside and ruining one of the greatest plays in possibly in NFL history when Travis Kelce took a pass, ran it, realized he was getting tackled, turned around, threw it back to Kadarius Toney, who scored the touchdown. Could have been, should have been the winning touchdown, called back because Toney's an idiot and he didn't line up properly. He ruined the first game of the season for them. He's dropped a lot of balls for them. And then this glaring error, he's getting close to losing his NFL career and his job over this. And this was really too bad because that was a hell of a play. And it would have been on highlight reels forever and ever and ever if it would have counted and stood.
Yeah. I thought that might have been the greatest play I've ever seen. Because I'm like, oh, Travis Kelce has done it again. Like, my goodness. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's how you walk off and win a game. And then they got called back. But apparently there's some controversy with that, with him lining up offsides. Because apparently he says that he checked with the line judge to see if he was onside.
Wow.
Which is many players have said that. Do this during the game to say if they're onside, and then the official will either tell you to move back or you're offside, move back. He checked with him, and the line judge apparently didn't say anything, so he thought he was onside.
Wow.
And now here's more controversy to this because there's some CBS Lineside reporters that tweeted out saying that Kadarius Toney tried to check with the line judge numerous times to make sure that he was onside, and he thought he was.
Wow.
And then for whatever reason, said CBS reporters deleted their tweets.
Really? Wow.
Why did they do that?
Wow.
Right? Did they get something from the league office for the NFL saying you better get rid of those tweets?
Wow.
What's going on?
That's crazy. That's interesting. I've seen guys check a lot, and it usually the referees or the sideline judge is like, you're onside, you're offside, and he'll tell you, straight out. And I think that's only fair and great. For some reason, the NFL has decided to call this a lot more this season. I think this is the 11th time they did. Last year, they only called it on, I believe, 3 occasions. And in 2021, only 1 time in the entire NFL season was it called. Out of all the snaps, out of all the plays, they only called it 1 time 2 years ago, 3 times last year. Suddenly they bumped it up to 11 times. And I've heard other guys also say that they asked and they were told they were fine. And then the flag was thrown on them. And so this might be another incident. I've watched this play many times, and I didn't see Toney actually look around and yell out to it. He looked like he was looking inside almost the whole time. But I don't know. I guess have to take him at his word, and that's pretty dirty if he did, and he wasn't told the truth and the flag was thrown on him, and now he looks like the GOAT. It'd be nice if they do a bit of investigation and see what actually took place.
Well, of course it would be nice, but then again, maybe there will be no investigation and this will be just quietly shuttered. Because like sometimes there's the politics behind the scenes that we don't know about, the things, the ins and outs with the teams or with the NFL, or maybe this owner did something that the NFL wasn't too impressed by. So we're going to cost you a game by doing this. You never know, right? But if that's what he did, he actually checked and they ignored him, well, then that can't happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Like that can't happen. You can't do that.
No.
And because if it happened to this team, it could be your team next.
Yeah.
That they do that.
Well, Mahomes was really angry, and him and Andy Reid were both very, very vocal after the game and then the press conference. And I think the one point that Mahomes was trying to make was last week, you really screwed us by not throwing the flag when Marquez Valdes-Scantling had the pass interference against him, and you didn't throw the flag then, and it was basically like, we'll let them play, and then now this week when he's offside, and it didn't affect the outcome of the play in any way, it didn't change how it would have turned out. Now you're throwing the flag and screwing us. So no flag last week, screw us. Flag this week, screw us again. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's concerning. Yeah. If I was the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, I'd be like, hey, that's a little bit concerning. I'm gonna have to make a call here. Maybe I'm gonna have to make a couple calls because those are two calls that cost them the games, and every game counts, as you know, in the NFL. So
yeah. I saw a graphic earlier in the game. Kansas City leads the NFL with the most dropped balls in the league. I think this was 33 now, and that's very concerning. So since they've lost Tyreek Hill, they've been trying to replace with a lot lesser guys, and I think a lot of them are really not up to par. And giving Mahomes the weapons that he needs. Brock Purdy has the weapons. Mahomes has lost a lot of his weapons, and I think it's really starting to show and giving them a lot of trouble. 8-5 now. I did not expect to see that record after 13 games for the Chiefs.
No, I agree with you. I definitely didn't expect to see that because they potentially, because of those two calls, they probably should be 10-3.
Yeah.
Not 8-5, right? So but yes, that's something that they need to address. Their wide receiver concerns, and they have them. They need better receivers. They need better sure-handed receivers. They need to improve that core. This
was Mahomes. This was Mahomes' first loss after a loss. He was 10-0 following a loss in his NFL career. First time ever losing 2 in a row. He's only had 22 pass touchdowns through the first 12 games. That is his worst of his career. He has a great career completion percentage, but a career low for yards per catch. And he's almost 68% completion percentage, but only 10.4 yards per catch. And it's really showing that he needs more weapons, and he's lost a lot of trouble. And right now, the Kansas City has a real chance, staring them in the face, that if and when they make the playoffs, that they'll play a road game. And Patrick Mahomes has never played a road playoff game in his career. He's played some neutral site games in the Super Bowl, but never a road playoff game. That's pretty crazy, and I was blown away by that stat.
Yeah, that actually is quite incredible that he's never played a road playoff game because he's been that good for that long.
He couldn't pull off the victory at the end. Eventually, it was 4th and 15, and Mahomes threw an incomplete pass because of tons of pressure that Leonard Floyd had on him. as they pressured him in the end. And Chiefs will have a easier one this coming Sunday. They play the Patriots in New England. The Bills host the Cowboys. Afternoon games, 1:25 Pacific kickoff time. Really looking forward to the Bills Cowboys game.
Yeah, I know that's going to be a dynamite game. That's going to be a great game, and I think I would say more than the Cowboys, the Bills. It's a must win. They got to win that game.
The chances of Aaron Rodgers coming back this year really improved from this game. The Jets ended up winning 30-6 over the Titans, improving to 5-8. It was a scoreless first half, and it was ugly. And then Zach Wilson ended up throwing a touchdown pass early into the third quarter. Then Greg Zuerlein kicked that extra point, and that was it. That's all they needed. It would have won the game 7-6 right from there. They ended up passing it to Garrett Wilson a few times. Xavier Gibson ran one in. Zuerlein was able to get the nice field goals, 51 yards, 55 yards, 44 yards, and boom, the Jets really stomped on the Texans. One of the problems with the Texans was C.J. Stroud was knocked out. Concussion protocol. Nico Collins also was ruled out with a calf injury, and he came in from last week, 9 catches, 191 yards and a touchdown. This game, he only had 1 catch for 13 yards. When you lose your best receiver, your top quarterback, you're screwed, and they sure were. Jets got the easy win.
Yeah, that Jets got the easy win because 2 of the Texans' top offensive talents were not there, were not available. And Zach Wilson actually threw for 300 yards, which was just like, what? Who's this guy? I've never seen this dude before. 2 touchdowns. Breece Hall had a great game, 10 carries, 40 yards, and 8 receptions for 86 yards and a touchdown. And Garrett Wilson, 9 receptions for 108 yards. Jets win, and the win probably now Aaron Rodgers more likely to come back. Yeah. More likely to come back now. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I'd love to see him come back. It would be just so great for him, for the game, and I hope he does. Nice to see them pull off a great win. And the Wilson brothers. Oh man, Zach, that's I think that might be the best game of his career, and very impressive. I love Breece Hall, and he had 126 yards total, and very, very, very good performance for the Jets. And fingers crossed we get to see Aaron Rodgers back. I think he is. I think we'll see him in a couple weeks if the Jets can string another 1 or 2 wins together. So going back to the Thursday nighter, the Patriots end up stunning the Steelers and winning 21-18. Patriots improved to 3-10. Steelers fall to 7-6. Bailey Zappi gets the victory. He used Zeke Elliott, and Hunter Henry had a couple of touchdowns. And Steelers tried to make a comeback with Mitch Trubisky, but fell short. And that was the Thursday nighter. What did you think of that one?
No, well, it's Bailey Zappi to the rescue once again. Like, it's wow, and it's 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. He gamed real big, man. And Mitch Trubisky, oddly enough, couldn't win the game. Super weird. I kind of thought he'd pull it out, but he couldn't do it. So
no, unable to do it. Not this time. As I said, the Patriots host the Chiefs Sunday early window. The Steelers go to the Indy Colts, and that's Saturday. The 1:30, the middle game, 1:30 Pacific. It should be fun. Steelers and Colts always have good battles against each other. Okay, let's talk about the AFC West. This was a unfortunate loss for the LA Chargers. Broncos won 24-7 quite easily. The Broncos defense was great, and knocking out Justin Herbert with a broken right index finger. He's going to have to undergo surgery, and they're not sure if he's going to play the rest of the year. They say almost guaranteed he will not play Thursday, this game against Vegas on Thursday. and likely he will not play a game this season. He won't be able to grip the ball properly, and this sinks the Chargers. They fell to 5-8 on the season, and their season's done. The only good saving grace is that Brandon Staley's going to get fired finally. They can get a real coach in there, and they can start fresh next season and try to chase the playoffs down with Justin Herbert. Hopefully he recovers really soon, and he can get back to playing, being as talented as he always has been.
Yeah, I think because of like the record, just the way that they've been going, there's no point in rushing Justin Herbert back.
Why? Yeah.
What's the point, right? Like, it's like, that's your franchise quarterback. Tell him just like, hey, chill out, buddy. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Just stay at home and heal up, man, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it, personally. And yeah, the Broncos, again, they pull out a victory. And sometimes I really don't know how they're doing this. And Russell Wilson, 224 yards and 2 touchdowns, man. Yeah. His favorite receiver, Cortland Sutton, had a touchdown. They hand it to the Chargers, man. And it's a lot easier when Herbert's out of the game, and then you have to deal with a guy by the name of Stick. Didn't know who that guy was. And
Easton Stick. Yeah, Easton Stick, a 5th-round draft pick. Nobody knew who he was except his parents before this game. So yeah, he could not come in and do very, very much. Honestly, Broncos defense is the reason why they're 7-6 and why they're winning so many games. They held the Chargers to 0-12 on 3rd down, 0-12, and 1-6 on 4th down. So they turned over the ball 5 times, stopping them on 4th down. So pretty insane. And you mentioned Cortland Sutton, but I also do want to mention Javonte Williams. What a weapon he is for the Broncos on offense. Those 3 guys, Russ, Court, and Javonte, they can do enough to win with that defense. And Herbert fractured a finger on his non-throwing hand earlier in the year, has been hampered a bit with that, hasn't been able to hand the ball off as easy, has had a little bit of trouble, now breaking the finger on his right hand, lost season. And this was tough. I really wish they would have realized after they blew that game against Jacksonville in the playoffs last year that Staley had to go, and they've lost a whole season here, and it's really too bad to see this fall apart. As I mentioned, the Chargers go to Vegas Thursday. Won't be as compelling a game with Easton Stick in there, but I guess we'll be watching anyway. The Broncos go to the Lions, and they play on the Saturday late game, as I mentioned a bit earlier. This was another good game on the schedule. We had the Browns and the Jags play. The Browns improved to 8-5 with the 31-27 victory over the Jags. The Cleveland never trailed in this game, and Joe Flacco off the couch wins his 2nd straight game, 311 yards and 3 touchdowns. Man, can you believe this guy? How has he been able to do it, this old man? This experience is really showing, and a lot of other teams should have reached out to Joe and got him on their team when their quarterbacks went down. The guy's looking great.
Yeah, Joe OTC Flacco, off the couch Flacco. Yeah, man, he's been fantastic. Yeah. He just spinning that ball and he's checking it around, and he's doing well. I think his favorite target for that game was Njoku with 2 touchdowns, and a couple of times for Njoku, he was wide open, like so wide open. Where I'm like, okay, so that's blown coverage, because he's just like, hey, right here, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with the Jags defense there, but yeah, he was very, very open. 6 catches for him for 91 yards, 34-yard touchdown, another 30-yard strike. And then David Bell had just 1 catch, a 41-yarder, and Kareem Hunt looked good as well and had a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence was very questionable heading into this one with the high ankle sprain. We saw Kenny Pickett actually have the same high ankle sprain, ended up going for surgery. They really held Lawrence back from practice most of the week, and he was a game time decision. He still had a pretty damn good game, but I don't know, maybe it contributed to his 3 interceptions that really changed the momentum and gave the Browns this win.
Yeah, and that was the unfortunate thing. He did toss for 3 touchdowns, but the 3 interceptions really hampered the Jags in this game from winning it.
The only good thing about Trevor Lawrence being a little banged up was Nathan Rourke finally hit the active roster this week. He was elevated off the practice roster. And funny enough, I mentioned last week, Nathan really making a mistake signing in Jacksonville and being behind one of the most durable quarterbacks in the league. Josh Allen is the most durable and has the longest start streak. And then Trevor Lawrence is second in that. And Rourke, and they were worried that maybe Lawrence wouldn't start, so they brought Rourke up, and he got a NFL paycheck this week. Hopefully he stays up with the team the rest of the year and gets some good money and get some opportunity to practice with some of the starters, some of the guys out there, and it was kind of great to see.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad he's finally getting an opportunity to be with the team, be with the big squad. And as he should, because we don't know if his high ankle sprain will flare up, and that's Trevor Lawrence. If that flares up again, if it gets really bad, he's going in.
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah. So the Jags host the Ravens on the Sunday nighter. I mentioned that earlier. Looking forward to that. And the Browns host the Bears in the early window Sunday. And now we're down to the last game to cover, AFC North. The Bengals got a big 34-14 victory over the Colts. Bengals improved to 7-6. Colts fall to 7-6. And Jake Browning, wow, second straight win in relief of Joe Burrow. Very impressive game. Browning 275 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, and he also ran one in himself. The Bengals stay in that mix, and they outscored Indianapolis 20-0 in the second half to pull off this win. Very impressed with Jake Browning. Did not expect him to keep Cincy in the mix. I thought once Burrow went down, they were sunk, but they still have a really good chance at making the playoffs.
Yeah. Browning's definitely keeping their head above water. Joe Mixon helped with 21 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. But definitely, this is Browning's show, man. And he's showing up and he's leading the way for the Bengals to possibly make the playoffs after everybody has written them off, including myself.
Yeah, I think everybody had. Gardner Minshew played pretty good, but not enough. Colts host the Steelers Saturday middle game. Bengals host the Vikings also Saturday. That's the early game on Saturday. So as I mentioned, 3 games Saturday and the rest of the games on Sunday. AFC South, we've covered all the games. Just want to mention how the division's shaken up. Jags are first at 8-5. Colts and Texans are second and third, 7-6. And the Titans now are 5-8 in last place there. So, that's week 14. Can you believe we've only got 4 weeks left, and playoffs are really starting to emerge. And as I said, we got Saturday games, we got Thursday games, Saturday games, Sunday games, Monday games. We've got a ton of games on some very important holidays too, and I'm super psyched and looking forward to them.
Yeah, I know. I'm super psyched, and I'm looking forward to them as well. It's going to be a great couple of days of football, and more football.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the UFC Shanghai. No, UFC Vegas, not China. Vegas 83. They ripped it away from China and said, nope, you're not having the this card. We're having it. They ended up putting together a fairly decent card. There was some fights that fell off of it, but it ended up being a pretty fun card in a lot of ways. I think the fight of the night, in my opinion, ended up being the co-main event, but let's start with the main event. I think this was a bit of a mismatch. You had number 7 against number 15. Song Yadong really was a dominant force against Chris Gutierrez. Gutierrez tried to utilize his leg kicks to win this one, but wasn't able to put together enough other damage and strikes. And Song Yadong, at 26 years old, really emerging as a force in this division. The Kung Fu Kid looked great and took the victory.
Yeah, he took the victory. Gutierrez tried to mix up his strikes by going trying to probe with his kicks and then throw the hard kicks with the soft kicks, but it was not enough. It was not enough. He did not do enough damage. And especially when it came to the grappling, Gutierrez had no takedown defense. And when he went down to the mat, when Song brought him down to the mat, he stayed down there.
Yeah.
Stayed down there and he could not get up. That's one of his weaknesses, clearly one of his weaknesses. And that's how I believe Song really legitimately won this fight, was through his grappling.
Yeah, especially those last 2 rounds, it was almost entirely on the mat. He just was down there getting dominated and stayed down there. Very impressive performance by Song. And he ended up calling out Peter Yan after this fight. And they showed a yawn emoji from Peter Yan and him kind of hyping up like, I was pretty bored by that performance there, Song. What the hell? And they kind of exchanged some words there, and I think it might be a great battle between those two.
I think that would be a great fight. I love it. I hope they make it, and at least one thing about those two fighters, it's going to be exciting because they're both going to bring.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it was very one-sided. It was 50-45 on 2 judges' cards, 50-44 on the other. Really dominant performance. These guys are both Peter Yan and him are both trying to chase down the champion, Sean O'Malley. And we'll see after O'Malley's finished with Chito Vera, if he beats them. One of these guys, that if they put these 2 guys together, they might emerge as the title contender. I thought the light heavyweight battle between Anthony Smith and Khalil Roundtree was the fight of the night for me. And Khalil Roundtree ends up really showing his mettle. 5 wins in a row, beating an incredible veteran in Anthony Smith, getting the victory here, getting $50K, and really starting to emerge as one of the top guys in the division. I think he'll if he keeps it up, will have a chance at a title shot very soon.
Well, he's got to be in the top 10 now. He was just one outside the top 10. He was 11th, and Anthony Lionheart Smith was number 8. Now, Smith took this fight on short notice, correct?
He did, very short, yeah.
Okay, so I give Lionheart all the credit in the world because that's a guy I would never take short notice. Sorry, not going to do it. Anthony Smith understood exactly what he needed to do. He needed to go into the fire to beat this man,
right,
which he did do. But the fact of the matter is, you're going into the fire with Khalil Roundtree, you're going to get hit with heavy artillery. And he got hit with heavy artillery in the 3rd round with that right uppercut, left hook, which discombobulated his brain. You saw it short circuit. You saw him go, and then done. Done.
Yeah, and it was his legs were like spaghetti, and he was down, and then he's coming down, and then Roundtree's just like this, just walking up. Okay, do I need to hit him? Are you gonna stop it? It was kind of wild. Now he could have easily just started raining them down, but he just was waiting. Okay, what are you gonna do? And then referee's in there. Okay, he's done. He can't fight anymore. But did it ever discombobulate him so bad to the point where no way he should have continued?
Of course not. No, and also too, that's Roundtree being a good sportsman because he's like, He knew when he hit him with that 2-piece, he's like, yeah, he's done. He's not getting up. This fight is over. I don't need to hit him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, though. Anthony Smith did utilize a game plan that he needed to. He needed to pressure. He was always pressuring. He was taking shots, but he was pressuring, putting Roundtree on the back foot. And, he was doing quite well until he just got rocked. The uppercut and then the one shot. And bam, he was in serious trouble and finished. The baby giraffe spaghetti legs. Yeah. It's always incredible that shots can just make that happen to your body and you're just unable to continue.
Well, of course, but all you have to do is look at Khalil Roundtree and know that is a powerful man. So if I get hit with that guy's power, or over and over again, as they did trade shots, heavy shots between the two of them, but Khalil Roundtree was better able to handle Lionheart's shots than Lionheart can handle his.
Yeah, that's true. He's got the second most KOs in the light heavyweight history. Chuck Liddell still has the most. He's second now. And he called out Alex Pereira. That's unusual for Roundtree to do something like that. And when I started thinking about that fight, I'm signing up every single solitary day for something like that. That's probably too much of a leap for the UFC brass, but if somehow Pereira's against somebody else and they fall off, put Roundtree in there. That would be a hell of a battle.
No, that would be a great battle. I think Roundtree, unfortunately, is still a fight or two away from getting a real shot at the title. Yeah. But I think he's definitely earned somebody in the top 4 or 5 now. He should be fighting somebody of that caliber.
In the fight previous to that, a lightweight battle between Nasrat Haqparast and Jamie Mullarkey. Nasrat ended up getting a devastating first-round knockout over Mullarkey. That got him a $50,000 bonus. He landed, after he dropped Mullarkey, he landed 20 unanswered shots. 20. I stopped it, rewound it, counted, had to do it again to just make sure. 20 shots, just wow. He was just feeding him, and he got up once and then way back down, and that was over. Oh man, did he ever swarm him with shots? Holy cow.
Yeah. He knocked him down with, I believe it was a huge left hook, dropped Mullarkey, and then it was uppercut after uppercut after. He was just going to keep uppercutting until the fight was going to be ended, which it was. 20 uppercuts, though. Mullarkey's pretty tough. Took 20 uppercuts before it got stopped.
Yeah. Keith Peterson mercilessly stopped it, and once he buckled again. Mullarkey is either tough or he's part zombie, because I do not know how he stood back up after getting those shots fed to him. They look like incredible bombs that were just landing, and I was like, how is the guy getting up from that? And then he goes right back down, and it was over. But I was like, is he already dead? Like, how did he get up? Those shots were incredible.
Yeah, no, those were very, very hard shots. Again, I give Mullarkey all the credit in the world. Very tough man, but you can only be so tough for so long before them shots finally add up and get to you.
Nasrat's only 28 years old. This is a guy that's really up and coming. He actually has a UFC record in the lightweight division with the most body strikes in a fight with 57, and really has been able to put together a great win streak here. Looking really good. I liked him calling and asking for both Hunter Campbell and Dana White to bring a fight card to Morocco. That would be incredible. Hopefully that happens. And why not? Let's try to put a card everywhere in the world, and you've got a guy that can headline a main event card, even a fight night, that would be great to see.
Well, yeah, and I think eventually that's actually what should and has to happen. Once these guys get to a certain level or ranking, you should take them, bring them to their country of origin, and have fights there, right? Because the more fans that you build your brand globally across the world, the better off your brand's going to be.
Yeah.
So let's make it happen, UFC. Let's do it.
Yeah, enough of this Apex crap. Bored. I hate it. It's way too quiet in there. It's not got the energy of a hometown crowd somewhere. 80 freaking 3 now in the Apex. That's brutal. I don't want it to see it hit 100, 200, all those kind of numbers just scare me. Let's just keep it out of the Apex and bring it around the world. Yeah, let's bring it to Morocco. I'll come. I'll fill the seats, and let's make it happen. Okay, let's talk about the battle between Tim Elliott and I don't even know how to say this guy's name. I forgot.
Sumo
do you know how to say it?
Sumo Darji.
Sumo Darji. That's right. I just call him the Tibetan Eagle. Much easier to say. Pretty impressive performance by Tim Elliott. Ended up getting a submission victory, got the head and arm triangle choke, and ended up putting him to sleep. Was not able to tap in time before he went to sleep, and Herb Dean got in there, and oh crap, too bad. Sorry, a little bit too late. Early nap for him, and great performance by Elliott.
Yeah, Sumo Darji decided to go out on his shield. He said, "No, I think I can fight it off." Or then when he thought, I can't fight it off, I'm not going to tap, though. I'm just going to go take a little nap.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The social media handle for Tim Elliott is Awkward MMA, and truer words have never been more spoken. Tim is a tough, weird fighter. The way he fights is very strange. He won Tough 24. He's a number 10 ranked fighter. Says he's done thinking that he can win a title, but he has a lot more fights left in him. He says 36 years old, and really he was brought in as a late replacement as well, and came in and asked to fight next week. He wants to fight next week. So this is a tough guy that you gotta love. And I was really happy to see him get the win.
Yeah, no, I was happy to see him get the win too. But taking a guy like that on short notice for Sumo Darji is quite a lot to ask for him, because you're not going to find anybody that emulates Tim Elliott's style, period, anyways. And then trying to prepare for a guy like that, it would just be frustrating and exasperating at the same time, because he has such an awkward uniqueness to him that what are you going to do? Like how could you ever prepare for a guy like that?
Game plan. Yeah. How do you get sparring partners? How do you game plan? How do you figure it out? The angles and the craziness that he brings into the cage is pretty wild. He said he's willing to come in on short notice fights, 135, 145. And yeah, I'm sure the UFC takes notice to that and will keep him very busy. So looking forward to seeing him more. Okay, what do you think of the Iron Turtle against Andre Muniz? Muniz is grappling. His ability to get the takedown was just super impressive. And this is a guy that's one of those jiu-jitsu experts that if you're not good at keeping it on the feet, you're in serious trouble.
And to Park's credit, he was actually pretty good at getting up to his feet for most of this fight until finally he got tired out. Yeah. And Muniz stayed on him like an anaconda for the bulk of this fight. Yeah. He could not get the man off him. And looking at Muniz and just the way that he's built, the man is built like a Greek god. You can see just how strong and how hard it would be to get him off of you, which Park really couldn't do. Yeah. He won in all the grappling aspects, and that's how he won this
fight. Okay, prelims. What we can only really focus on one or two fights on the prelims. Is there ones that you really want to highlight?
Yes, for the Song versus Jousset fight, or Jousset. Yeah, actually he's French, so it is Jousset. Anyways, yeah. That guy, super impressed by him. I think he had the most strikes landed, passing Alan Jouboin for 10th or something like that in the welterweight rankings. His striking was super on point. Jab was super effective. The leg kicks were on point, to the point that Song had to keep switching stances because his lead leg was so beaten up, and his face was absolutely destroyed by the end of this fight. Jousset, he's a real one. Great fighter, and I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, 10-2, and I think look out, very, very tough. And the fight that one of the fights that kicked off the card, I didn't see the first fight of the night between the women's strawweight, but Tatsuro Taira, he looked really good in his win over Carlos Hernandez, getting the knockout and early in the second round. You don't see flyweights often get KOs, but he looked great and really would have been very impressive in front of that Chinese audience. This kid, look out for him in that division.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you on that. He had some real power, because I believe he hit Hernandez with a huge right hand, finished him with some excellent ground and pound. He's one to watch for. And my hope is that the UFC makes it up to China and gets the UFC over there at some point in time in the new year. Hopefully sooner than later, because they definitely deserve the show.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we've only got one fight card left in 2023. That goes down next weekend in Vegas. We've got two title fights on the line. Leon Rocky Edwards over Colby Covington. I said that the UFC has entered some dark days. We've got Sean Strickland as a champion. We've got Sean O'Malley as a champion. Please don't tell me Colby Covington is a champion after Saturday. I know he has a real shot at this because of his incredible grappling abilities, but man, I will be really, really upset to see this guy as a champion in the UFC.
Yeah. So would I, actually. I would be happy about it. I think what Leon has to really focus on is not being put on the back foot for the entirety of the fight, because that's what Colby Covington is going to do. He's going to try to go through your chest and just pressure you the entire fight. So his cardio, his endurance has to be upper echelon to fight Colby Covington, because that guy's not going to stop. He's super tough. And I think Leon needs to establish his power and hurt him to make sure that he backs off. So I think that's it's going to be a tough test for Leon, but I think he should be able to pass it, because he beat Usman. Yeah, he beat Usman. That means he should be able to beat Colby Covington.
I think so. I mean, Usman, I think easily beat Colby, and Leon to me is the greatest fighter in this division by far, and so he should be able to win this fight. But it's been so bizarre this year with these new champions and guys that we don't really want to represent the sport. And Colby really annoys me. I watched Countdown today, and I was just the whole entire time, every time he came on the screen, I was like, okay, should I just switch it off so I don't get pissed off? Him with his antics that everyone that knows him has said is fake. He's just doing it to get clicks and get opportunities like this. To see him in the White House with Trump and hanging out with Trump and all his his sons and everything. It's just on and on and on, and just makes me sick. I hate it. I just hate it.
Well, here's the thing though. That's what the UFC does to people. Yeah. If you don't do, like, Colby Covington was almost on his way out before he turned quote unquote heel, WWE term. Before he turned heel, started doing this, he was going to be out. Even though he hadn't lost, they were still going to boot him out. So that's what the UFC does. That's what Dana White likes to see. He doesn't want people to act like themselves. He doesn't want people to be respectful or be real to the sport. He doesn't want those people. Those people don't make him any money.
Yeah.
Don't make me any money. I want bad guys. I want villains. I want people to be assholes. I want you to be fighting in the streets.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, they kind of they created this monster, and yeah, hopefully they don't have to live with it for very much longer. I'm really cheering for Leon Edwards, and I'll be really upset if he doesn't win. So let's just hope, for the sake of all of us, that Rocky continues his amazing career and gets the victory. I'm looking forward to the co-main event incredibly. This is a rematch that happened August 21st of 2021. Alexander Pantoja, the champion, is fighting Brandon Royval. He beat Brandon by rear naked choke, as I mentioned, in 2021. They've had that was a performance of the night, performance in Vegas, and Royval has come on, really is legitimately getting this opportunity. Pantoja beat Brandon Moreno for the belt, split decision victory in July of this year, getting the flyweight championship. I think this fight will be better than the first one. Not sure who's going to emerge victorious, but what do you think's going to take place on Saturday night?
I think this fight's going to happen at all levels. All levels. I think the scrambles are going to be incredibly insane, because that's what Brandon Royval excels at. And I'm just looking forward to the fight. I really am. I think this is going to be an action-packed fight. Both guys are going to fight their asses off, and they're going to have to, because I think both of these guys, right at this point in time, are at the peak of their powers. I think it's going to be an excellent fight. Yeah,
Royval's coming in on a 3-fight win streak, and yeah, has really improved, I think, since that loss to Pantoja. And both guys have amazing amount of power. I love Factory X, fighting out of Denver, Colorado. Mark Montoya, one of the best coaches in the business, coached some of the guys on this card this past weekend. And yeah, I think this will actually be fight of the night. These two guys are both super skilled, very exciting, and I think it's going to be an amazing battle.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an amazing battle. I think you're right. It could possibly be the fight of the night, or the next fight will be the fight of the night.
Steven Wonderboy against Shavkat Rakhmonov, is that one? Or are you talking about the main event, Colby and Leon?
No, I'm talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov and Wonderboy Thompson.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's going to be technically a striking exhibition by both of these men.
Yeah,
and I'm super looking forward to it.
I'm excited, really big time. I'm hoping Tony Ferguson gets a victory over Paddy Pimblett, keeps his career alive. Ferguson's hanging by a thread, and this could be the final fight of a legendary career. Vicente Luque, I hope, beats the crap out of Ian Gary, and we get to see Ian Gary get his mouth shut for once. Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell on the undercard, looking amazing. Cody Garbrandt, we're going to get to see. We're going to see Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell stepping in on short notice. He was supposed to fight Giga Jikadze, but that fight still looks great. Alonzo Menafield, Dustin Jacoby, Andre Touchy-Feely against Lucas Almeida, Randy Rude Boy Brown, Muslim Salikov. Oh my God, this card is super stacked. Early prelims, and main card. So many great fights on this card.
Yeah, this is a great way to end the year. This is a great fight card. The only thing that I ask and pray for: do not give Bryce Mitchell the microphone if he wins that fight.
Yeah.
Do not give him the microphone. Just be like, and we're moving on to the main event.
Yeah, that's another guy that does not represent the UFC very well. especially when he talks. Yeah, we're not a fan of that. Don't give it to him. Just move on quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, to end this, I just want to talk about the NBA in-season tournament briefly. They ended up finishing the tournament over the weekend on Saturday night in Vegas. The LA Lakers were able to pull off the victory over the Indiana Pacers and get the 123-109 win. LeBron James and Anthony Davis were the reasons why. Anthony Davis, probably one of the best games of his career, 41 points, 20 rebounds, and LeBron James got MVP of the entire tournament. Lakers finished the tournament 7-0 and took it, and they said they're going to raise a banner in their arena for the NBA Cup. It's not going to be looking like the same as their 17 championships on the other side. So they said they're very proud of this, and they're going to raise a banner. I think it's tomorrow night, up to the rafters to celebrate this victory.
They might as well, because, like, you know what? Everybody cared. All of the teams that played care, right? Yeah. Because they had the intensity of an actual playoff game. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, if the players care, then I care.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me, man. And it was great basketball to watch. It was absolutely terrific. It was fantastic. The Pacers have the fastest pace in the NBA playing the game. What the Lakers did to slow them down was they just picked them up full court. So it took them longer to get into their offensive sets.
Yeah.
That's what slowed them down. That's what helped them win this game. Yeah. I was impressed with how the Lakers talked defensively, how they switched, how they played the game, and then also, too, Anthony Davis. James talked him up before the game. You're going to have to be the man if you want to win this thing. And guess what Anthony Davis did? Answered the bell, was the man that won the game.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That was huge. I was really surprised how well the Lakers came together and how well Anthony Davis played. He's not that up and down guy, roller coaster guy. He really stepped up, and you could tell how well he played. Both those guys made it to I guess they sort of announced the 5 all-stars from the tournament. Those 2 guys, Tyrese Halliburton, Kevin Durant, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, were the 5 guys that got honored as players of this tournament. And this was a win for the NBA. All in all, everybody was super impressed, and I'm glad that they've done this. I think they can tweak a few things, but really, really great. And I'm amazed at how well received it was by the players and then the fans in turn from that too. So it was excellent, and I'm glad it's here, and I look forward to it every year.
Yeah, it was well thought out. It was well orchestrated. I love the difference in the court, so you knew that an in-tournament game was happening, and with even with the jerseys as well. Yeah. I thought it was great, effective, and also too for their network partners when they signed that new deal. It's just something else to put on top, like the bow on top. It's like, then you also get this, and the players care.
Yeah.
As you can see, except for Zion, he still eats too much. But besides him, everybody else cares. Yeah. Everybody else cares.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was great to see. And congratulations, Lakers and Laker Nation. I know you want that 18th banner on the other side, but you've got the first ever NBA Cup, and you should celebrate it. Very impressive. All the teams were in it, and you guys were the best. So good on you. That's it for me. Another podcast down. Another great weekend of sports as always, and we'll see how we come at you over the coming weeks. Some of these podcasts are falling on some holidays and stuff, so we might also take a hiatus like the UFC is doing. We'll let you know. We'll try to give you a post on our social media. We'll let you know as well, Jason. I'm sure you got lots of ugly sweaters to wear and lots of eggnog to drink and lots of family to hang out with and parties to be at. So, we appreciate this fantastic year. Thanks so much for your dedication to every week doing this. I've had a blast. It's been fun. and we're really getting a lot of traction. People are loving it, getting lots of feedback, and it's just growing leaps and bounds, which is a testament to the hard work that you and I have put in, a lot of dedication, a lot of hours watching sports. It's been tough, but we've been able to do it.
Yeah, man, and it's been an absolute pleasure for myself. I'm glad that you asked me to come on board, and I'm glad we could do this partnership together. So
Nice.
thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks so much. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your evening. I know it's short, but hope you have a great week ahead. No rain, fingers crossed, and yeah, have a terrific week. Keep sending me Instagram posts, and I'll send you some good ones too.
Okay, you betcha, buddy. Have a good night.
Okay, thanks so much. All right. As always, fantastic episode. But man, it's pushing late, so I'm gonna end it. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. You know who you are. If you're a dedicated fan, you know who they are too. Just go onto our website and you'll find them all. Love you. Take care of yourself. Have a really, really amazing week ahead, and Merry Christmas. We'll probably pull off one over the next coming weeks, but if not, love you guys lots. Thanks for all your support. Keep sending in the great comments. Keep liking. Keep subscribing. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Take care of yourself, and have a merry holiday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, and everything like that. So, love you. Bye for now.